Okay, using this time to get jacked. How are we doing that? All right, we'll talk about that in a second. First, this is a guy named Liam Hemsworth. He's the brother of Chris Hemsworth, the actor who plays Thor in these Marvel movies. Anyway, Liam has been a vegan for about 5 years, and he recently said that he had to quit due to health concerns. Basically, he was developing renal stones from all the plant-based healthy foods, the spinach, the beans, and all these things, these high oxalate-containing foods, and he is no longer a vegan. It's interesting that he is a much scrawnier version to his brother, who is a meat eater. And so, again, we see, again, over and over again, he states in this article that he felt good for about 2 years and then kind of went downhill. Of course, he's like, well, it may work for other vegans, the typical apologetic, sorry, I can't be vegan, but it may work for you type of thing that we often see. So, the bottom line is that vegan diet is just an inferior diet. It's a diet of ideology and not a diet of health. And anybody that chooses to do that should realize that they're likely compromising their health. It might be better than a standard American diet in the short term, and it clearly is, but long term, it's not a good sustainable diet for most people. Anyway, all right, so let's talk a little bit about a topic, hepatic gluconeogenesis. I think this is in protein, because this is a very interesting thing that often comes up. And several studies have been done to look at this. And this one is called Gluconeogenesis and Energy Expenditure After a High-Protein, Carbohydrate-Free Diet, done back in 2009. And what they found, interestingly, was that a high-protein diet versus a normal diet did not result in any greater amount of gluconeogenesis. Now, again, this is in normal, healthy volunteers. What they did see, let me correct myself. Endogenous glucose production was not elevated. That means blood glucose did not rise due to high protein intake. What they saw is two things. One is that when we produce glucose from the liver, it comes from two places typically. One is through glycogenolysis, which is a breakdown of glycogen, that's stored in the liver to create blood glucose, or there is gluconeogenesis, which occurs from certain amino acids, things like alanine in particular, lactate, or glycerol, which comes from from the triglyceride, the glycerol molecule from there. So in normal human beings, we don't see an increase in glucose on a higher protein diet. But when we are in a glycogen depleted state, in this particular study, what they did was they reduced glycogen through exercise. We saw decreased rates of glycogenolysis because there's no glycogen, but a fractional increase in gluconeogenesis. Now, but the net result was no increase in blood glucose, right? Because one goes up and one goes down. So we don't see this elevation in blood glucose. We did see an interesting effect on energy expenditure, in that there was an increase in energy expenditure on this higher protein diet. 42% of that was attributed to the energetic cost of gluconeogenesis, and that is about a 33% loss of energy to convert protein into glucose. And so this is maybe another reason why eating higher protein allows you to eat a little more calories, because you're losing energy that way. And the satiating effect of protein is also there. Another study looking at, in the American Diabetes Association Diabetes Journal, dietary proteins contribute little to glucose production, even under optimal gluconeogenic conditions in healthy humans. And so in this study, they were looking at, endogenous glucose production. And they gave people they were on a medium protein diet, and they added a bunch of eggs in there, and they did isotope tracing to see where the glucose was coming from. Only like a small percent, like 5% of it actually was actually being converted from the amino acids. And so again, we see that protein in a normal person does not seem to raise blood glucose in any significant way. Now, there is some data in diabetics that seem to show that blood glucose may be altered due to gluconeogenesis due to the fact that there's a balance between glucagon and insulin. And in a diabetic, glucagon may predominate. That is to say, either the person is not making enough insulin, say a late-stage diabetic or a type 1 diabetic, or the insulin that they do make is subject to insulin resistance in the liver and other tissues. And so the liver can't really use the insulin, so then glucagon predominates. Remember, insulin is a storage hormone or an anabolic hormone, and glucagon is a catabolic hormone or a breakdown hormone where it will break down glycogen and it will promote gluconeogenesis. So those things are interesting. All right, so this is a little shot of me training yesterday. I'm obviously getting leaner. This is, I'm just working with the X3 bar, doing some deadlifts. Prior to that, I'd done, earlier in the day, I'd done a 150-pound med ball load over the shoulder for 25 reps. I did a 176-pound kettlebell swing for 50 reps, 5 sets of 10. I rode 5,000 meters. Then later in the day, I went and it was 100 push-ups and 40 pull-ups. I'm not very good at pull-ups because I have these long arms, and then the X3 bar. And the X3 bar is something that, it's a resistance band. It's, the nice thing about this one is it's such high construction. It's such a hard band that at the top of that deadlift, and you saw I'm just kind of finishing partials, and that's how you're supposed to finish with the partial reps because it really fatigues the muscle. But at the top, at my height, it's around 700 pounds at lockout. So at the bottom, it's maybe 315, but then it progressively goes pretty quickly up to the last few inches. You're pulling about 700 pounds. And so, as you can see, I'm getting quite lean. I'm down about 10 pounds. How am I doing it? I'm eating some leaner cuts of meat, still completely carnivore. I do fat refeeds in there. But of course, this prompts the cries from these idiots like, what's his name, Durian Ryder and some of these other people. Oh, you're on TRT, or oh, you're taking steroids, or oh, you're taking selective androgen receptor modulators. That's not the case. Look, I've put this offer out to anybody that wants to test me. I'm willing to take a test at any time. You just got to pay for it. Put your money where your mouth is. But no one ever is willing to step up and pay for the test. They're like running their mouth. They can't believe, that you can be over 50 and be in shape. I've been training for 40 years, guys, and just because I'm going from rowing where being a little bit heavier and having a little bit more mass on me results in a better time to now switching over to maybe a different sport. Maybe there's CrossFit stuff where I need to be a little lighter and leaner. And so I am, just intentionally eating accordingly and, obviously getting lean. And so, these poor guys that think you can only do it with testosterone after 50 are deluded. They feel a lot of them use it as an excuse, especially these younger guys, 25, 30 years old, 40-year-olds on testosterone. That's, in my view, for the vast majority of them, the vast majority, it's just a Band-Aid for poor metabolic health, poor lifestyle choices, and not eating and training and sleeping like you should be. This is... all this stuff about testosterone declining or testosterone function declining. And that's what we want to know is testosterone function. What makes you lean, muscular, sexual function, mental function, all those things. That's what we're after. But those things decline in populations that eat a standard American diet, a crappy, high-carb, grain-based diet. And I think that's where that data comes from. And so if you don't do that, you train appropriately and effectively, you can be lean, muscular, strong, athletic, in your 50s, like I'm clearly doing. And this is stuff that I know upsets people to think that, oh my gosh, you mean I just didn't work hard enough? Hey, that's a choice. All right, Harvard study, guys. If you have not completed it, use the link in my bio to sign up. We need to get it done. Quit complaining about there's no science, or quit complaining that people don't support you, your physician doesn't support you because there's no science. It's your opportunity to do the science. 6 months or more, carnivore-ish. Labs are something you can have but do not have to have. It's a 30-minute survey to do. Please do it. Please help us out. Please advance the knowledge. I am available for personal consultation. Link in the bio if you want help with your diet, with nutrition, how to exercise, how to get lean, how to get strong, how to stay healthy. Those things are all things I'm very, very, very well, accomplished at, and can help you with that. MeatRx.com, April challenge going on. Check out, recipes, our direct-to-consumer ranchers. Check out the research. Check out the support system, the meetings, the expert meetings, so on and so forth. It's free for a month, guys. Give it a whirl. See if you want to help with the community. If you want to stick around and help us out and do what we're doing, which is to change the world, to fix this friggin' chronic disease epidemic we have. And we're growing every day. And people like you supporting us are what helps make this happen. All right, guys. Have a great day. Stay strong. Use this time of coronavirus, lockdown, quarantine, whatever, to get healthier. Don't turn it into junk food fest, which is some people are suggesting, don't just go get fat and eat junk food. It doesn't matter. That's bullshit. Stay healthy, get strong. All right, guys. We'll see you on the next video. Take care.